What's going on, YouTube? Rukari here, back with another episode of the Minotaur Hotel. Asterion and I are getting ready to go and discover the thing that will maybe let us bring Wi-Fi to the hotel. Asterion walks to the door, leading back to the stairway, but stops. You hear the faintest sound. Is he humming? Then the door clicks, and what you see outside is nothing like the inviting light from the stairway. This would have been a much better place to pause on last episode. I think our timing is very off. A tunnel stretches ahead of you, sloping down. Its walls are raw, bare stone. Asterion walks in as if there was nothing out of the ordinary in what just happened. He gives you only a brief glance, inviting you to follow. As soon as you cross the doorway, the very air around you changes. A bitter dampness hits you like a truck. It pries your mouth open and burns its way into your lungs. The entire hotel so far had air so dry it could make your nose bleed, but this place is already covering your skin in a sheen of sweat and grime. Just being here makes you feel dirty. But Asterion keeps going, and you follow along a few feet behind in the unending silence of this mysterious hallway you can't see. The light from the doorway behind you grows dimmer, and the farther you go, the louder are the Minotaur's hoof steps. The two of you travel a labyrinthine set of twists and turns, and with each shift, the walls changed further into polished rock. Oh, we're in the labyrinth. We're in the actual labyrinth. Oh, that can't be good for me. That cannot be good. The air worsens to such an extent that you have to make an effort not to cough. Regardless, your tongue is covered by a bitter oil that you can neither swallow nor spit out. The harsh sound of Asterion's hooves against stone, echoing all the way down the corridor, is both an invitation to proceed and an unnatural sound pushing you out of this place. That is, until the Minotaur steps on something brittle. You drag your feet along the floor and can feel the texture of the stone change. Its former smoothness has given way to a rougher, harsher surface that scrapes against your soles. The fuck is that? The claustrophobic corridors give way to a large chamber. It is darker than any room you have seen in the hotel thus far, save perhaps for the cold room. But light from some source that you can't quite determine still allows you to examine the chamber in further detail. The polished stone floors and walls, even outside the doorway leading to the previous corridors, are covered with a thin layer of purple dust. The layers get thicker and thicker as your eyes follow them to the center of the room, where a large wall of crystalline rock in that same dark color cuts the room in half. To the right and left, there are two large wooden tables on which a number of people could have worked together. Their legs are also covered in purple dust and seem to be stuck to the floor by growths of crystal. Books, sketches, documents, and schematics are strewn across the tables, and an old vase holding writing quills fashioned out of peacock feathers sit amongst the mess. Stone columns along the walls support the shadowed ceiling. They, too, are covered in dust, but the red and black paint that lies underneath is bright and fresh. What the hell is this? I don't know this mythology. I've never heard anything about just mysterious purple crystals growing out somewhere. The middle portion of the room's floor is peculiar. It seems to have been a shallow pool once, a foot deeper than the floor around it. But now it is dried and covered by thick outgrowths of purple rock. At the very center of the chamber is a wide basin consumed by the same rock. This is it. We call this place the bedrock. The stone you see is a form of obsidian. This place is as old as the labyrinth. It has always existed. You rub your hand on the crystal wall. The stone is brittle, and with a flick of your finger, you break off a shard. Just rubbing it between your fingertips turns it into a coarse powder that sucks up the air's humidity. As you proceed to examine it, you feel that the stain it leaves on your hand is irregular. There are oily black spots and watery red blotches. My lord, it's dirty, covered in centuries-old dust and grime. For your own good, I would advise against touching the obsidian. Oh, good thinking. That was probably stupid of me. You rub your hand on your shirt. Thank you. I would rather not see the master come in contact with impure substances. I would further recommend you change clothes once we return. The Minotaur takes a step towards you, standing between you and the wall of dark crystals. May we proceed? The basin at the center of the room, that's what we use for the radio. This is the equipment that broadcasts radio signals? I suppose that is a way to put it. A more appropriate description is that it is the realm's link to the outside world. You take a look into the basin. It is hard to know for sure since it's covered in dark stone, but it is almost as if there is no bottom to it. This room is the closest place to the outside world, if we can say that. It operates by different rules. Millennia ago, it was a shrine to the god Hermes, patron of trade and messengers. There are other such locations in this realm dedicated to specific gods. The masters for a long time used it as a dock to send and receive goods from the outside world. Then it became a post room when the hotel was established. If you can offer adequate instructions, it will find a way to transport goods back and forth. It could receive radio signals from the outside world after we instructed it on how they worked. If you can describe how the internet works, then it can be done. That will connect the realm to whatever the internet is. Then, if it's anything like radio, it can retransmit signals to your equipments. And how can we teach it to do that? What's the procedure? A contract. Yes, everything in this realm works by means of contracts, mainly those signed by the master. Your will, save a few exceptions, is sovereign. In a single contract, we can describe how the internet works, and then command the hotel through the basin to connect to it. Hey, that's kind of like programming a computer. Pardon? What's a computer? It's how computers work, that's what I mean. They follow your instructions, nothing more. If you give a computer bad instructions, they won't work. You need to be very precise, tell it step by step, in its own language, what it needs to do. Yes, I suppose your comparison is adequate. That is indeed how the hotel works. Which reminds me, I have yet to offer you the instruction on how to summon objects, don't I? Yeah, I've been here for a few days already, and yeah, I'd really like it if you could help with that. I like to make my own stuff every now and then. I am frightfully sorry for my negligence, my lord. Had it not been for the exceptional circumstances on which we met, I would have taught you on your very first day as master. Don't worry about that. Now, tell me, how does it work? Very well. For starters, the labyrinth can generate most materials and substances found in nature. That includes animal and plant products. It can generate living beings as well, but for a number of reasons that function was disabled. It's a long story. We can discuss it at another time. But I want a kitty. I want pets. I think that would be fun. The labyrinth can generate complex structures and manufactured objects if you can instruct it on how said thing can be built with raw materials. For clothing, we have quite the archive of instructions. You can trust the hotel to manufacture even complex garments without issue. It cannot, however, fabricate currency. Neither will it produce metals like gold or silver in large quantities, and a few other substances which were used in commerce back when the realm was created. And if a large mass of goods produced by the labyrinth are exported to the outside world, it may become rebellious and refuse to obey orders for a while. The gods put these restrictions in place to stop mortals from using the labyrinth for profit. I see, but that's not an effective restriction, is it? I can imagine a number of ways that can be sidestepped if I wanted to profit. We can't make gold and silver, sure, but what about precious gems? Those are valuable enough that we could export a small amount for a high profit. Good catch. That is what we used to do, in fact. We had a contact on the outside who would receive our gems, sell them without leaving a trace, and send over the currency. That way we could pay our employees, and we were not at all stingy, I might add. Interesting. So this whole system is, shall we say, abusable? Because I can think of plenty of ways to abuse a system like this. Yes, my lord, there is no doubt about that. After all, is that not what enabled us to build this establishment? The gods sentenced me to eternal damnation, but we found a way to make something good out of it. And we accomplished it by, shall we say, being quite creative and light-footed when interpreting the base rules they established. This is no different from how we managed to bring radio to the hotel. I doubt Hermes ever imagined the uses we could come up with for his shrine. It is fortunate that the gods were, shall we say, quite sloppy with how they worded the rules for this realm. There is one more thing. The labyrinth can muster materials, but as I said, it needs the instructions on how to put them together. For things such as books, it can copy books which already exist here, but it cannot summon a book it does not know. With that said, may I teach my lord how the summoning is done? Yeah, I'm ready. Let's do it. I want to summon me a hot chocolate. It is a simple affair. Perhaps you shall find it silly, but believe me, for this task you need only hum. This song in particular. The Minotaur begins humming a slow and drawn-out melody. Asterion's humming at times quivers, lingers, stretches itself. The song itself is simple, easy to learn, and quite unlike what you'd hear from modern musicians. Although he does not sing any lyrics, it would seem he is thinking of them and humming in unison. After repeating the song 2 more times, he stops. We need to call out to the labyrinth, inform it we are making a demand. We require an unequivocal gesture. Over the centuries, the masters have employed a number of actions for this, such as snapping their fingers or tapping their feet. But my lord can imagine how problematic it was when they would unwittingly give commands to the hotel. So for a few centuries now, we have adopted this song as the gesture. Master need only hum it. With time, you will even be able to do it without anyone noticing. If I am around, I can hum it for you as well. That works just the same. I hummed it in your stead when you tried summoning clothes for me. Aw, thanks, buddy. And now, state what it is you desire. You repeat the song Asterion just hummed, and you think of something simple you can summon to test the labyrinth's abilities. Perhaps a small gift for the Minotaur. Let's get him a neckerchief. You think back to the modern clothes you made for Asterion to wear. Crafting cloth, it seems, is a simple task for the labyrinth. But unlike that time, when Asterion apparently commanded the labyrinth to perform your instructions in your stead, you do it yourself. You close your eyes, picture in your head a simple piece of cloth, and hum the melody. You feel the familiar shifting of the lights in the room, but this time the tiled floor vibrates underneath your feet as well. The dark rocks around you crackle like charcoal clacking together as it's poured on a bonfire. Then you jolt as the sensation of rocks shattering and pouring over you. When you open your eyes, the wall is intact and unchanged. Perhaps because you're so deep in the heart of the labyrinth within its lower layer. Regardless, you look down. The labyrinth has produced a small square of red cotton cloth with a white swirling pattern along the edges. The Minotaur approaches you and looks at it as well. Now that's a pattern I haven't seen in a while. You grab the 2 opposite tips of the cloth, fold it diagonally, and take advantage of Asterion's proximity. You wrap the 2 tips around his neck and tie them at the back. The Minotaur winces but doesn't move away and just lets it happen. When you remove your hands and look over your handiwork, he's blushing. Thank you, Master. Does it suit me? Yeah, it looks great. Oh, he looks cute. Alright, enough messing around. How about we get started on the internet thing? Where do we even start? I don't know. I'm not an electrician. Asterion excuses himself to go back into the tangled hallways and returns a few minutes later with a folder full of schematics. He lays them over the 2 tables. Asterion lets you skim through uninterrupted. You cannot make sense of them. It's just a jumbled mess of geometric drawings and calculations. For the next hour, you and Asterion try to crack the puzzle. He explains to you how a team decades ago made these schematics to translate a radio's functioning into the hotel's bedrock. And you, in turn, try to explain to the best of your abilities how the internet works. It becomes apparent that no matter your previous expertise, there is so much about the nitty-gritty of the internet's workings that you cannot describe from memory. This will take quite a bit of research, and if it's just you and Asterion, it would take days or weeks to accomplish it. Your concentration is broken when you hear the shudder of rock moving against itself just behind you. You turn around, but nothing has changed. It's still the same dark, humid room. Is something the matter? I could have sworn I heard something move behind me. I am afraid I heard nothing, my lord. Perhaps you are just getting tired. That may be the case. Would you mind if we took a little break? Yes, about that. Would Master be willing to hear out an impertinent suggestion from this servant? Why you gotta say it like that, bro? Before you have a chance to respond, he lets out a giggle. I'm just pulling your leg. I assume you are about to tell me not to call myself a servant in that manner. I can be witty too, my almighty lord. Now, getting to the point. You see, it is somewhat late in the morning, and new guests might arrive soon. If the both of us stay here to work on this task, then who will greet them in the lobby? The process of drafting the contract requires a great deal of specific knowledge, so I should stay here to do it. Could we perhaps recruit Kota to assist me while you man the reception? That sounds reasonable. I'm not sure he knows a lot about the internet, but he might be able to give you a hand to a certain extent. You can now assign guests to the research and development team. Watch team building for tutorial? Okay, so we're finally getting into the nitty-gritty of this, and I would definitely like a tutorial. Stop doing that because I have no idea what I'm doing. At the start of every in-game day, you will be given the chance to assign some of your guests to a team and perform tasks to improve the hotel. The R&D team will research technological projects to expand the hotel's capabilities or work on new contracts that modify the rules of the hotel. To assign a guest to a team in the guest management section, click or tap on their icon, up at the top, and then select the appropriate option, 2. Similarly, you can dismiss a guest already assigned to a team by clicking or tapping their icon in the team and selecting the dismiss option. Every guest has a set of stats, texts, and contracts. The higher the stat is, the more guests can contribute towards completing a project of each type. Every session, your team's stat total will be working towards a reward, such as completing a tech project or crafting a contract. Every reward has a stat requirement that must be met for you to obtain it. If your team can't reach that total, don't worry, your project toward obtaining a reward will carry on to future sessions. Okay, so I think I understand it. You can see this tutorial at any time with the help menu. Great. So, we've got Asterion, who is really good with contracts, but not so much tech. Kota is kind of good with contracts, kind of good with tech. Luke is really good with tech, but he is unavailable, so I guess my only option is to send Kota and Asterion to R&D. Very well, my lord. I shall realize your will post-haste. I shall summon Kota for his help. Your guest stats can be seen in the guest screen in the menu. You can expect your current team members in the team screen as well. You can also inspect these in the ledger in the top right corner. Okay, hold on. So, ledger. These tells me more about them. I'm still the fucking arts background. Why didn't I pick something more useful? I've got files, guests. So this is where you check on all your people. This is where you see what the teams are. Cool. God, I wish I picked a different background sometimes. It's fine, it's fine, it's fine. With that, you head out. Just as you are leaving, you hear it again. The sound of a rock groaning against itself right behind you, beyond your grasp. It seems kind of menacing that the rock is just growling at me. It is just about time for new guests to arrive. Back at the reception, you put on your best smile and wait. Things are slower today. During the morning, only 3 new guests arrive, all singles. As the day progresses, however, you do notice some commotion as people move about. At lunchtime, you find only a few sandwiches sitting on the lounge's counter. A number of guests are missing: Greta, her boyfriend, and the South American men. As you are having your lunch, you see what could soon become a usual sight at the hotel. Luke coming into the restaurant, looking around for a moment, and, if there's no sight of Kota, heading straight to the counter to grab some food. Before he's made out of the room and back towards reception, Luke has already unwrapped one of the sandwiches and split it in half with his talons. He opens his beak wide, so much so that it looks wrong, and swallows the portion whole. As much as you wish he and Kota would get along, you are somewhat happy to be spared the spectacle. You can see this becoming a somewhat sad routine. You prepared yourself for an uneventful afternoon, but when you return to the reception, something feels off. You hear a subtle noise from behind the counter. You walk towards it and peek behind, only to find... Hi, Frenchie? I think you were French, actually. I'm not so sure. Excuse me, but what do you think you're doing here? Sorry. I was just, looking for a quiet place. My name is Ishmael. And you chose to sit behind the reception counter? Yes, it doesn't make sense, huh? It's more that I wanted to be by myself for a while. Sorry, keep clicking the wrong button. And again, you chose to be behind the reception counter? Of all the places in this hotel, this is the location you chose. Yes, isn't it silly? Please understand, I've been hitchhiking with my girlfriend for weeks now, and she doesn't stop talking. And today, she got all excited about this thing she was helping with. That fat dragon convinced her to help out with something. When I stumbled into her during lunch, she was all hyped up. You don't understand what she's like. She'll keep going on, even when I'm trying to sleep. Please let me hide. She'll never look here. I'm just watching some anime. I won't get in your way. Anime? How are you doing that? We don't have an internet connection here, and I doubt you're getting any reception. Yeah, and it's been driving me crazy. I can't browse shit. But I planned ahead. I have over 108 gigabytes of anime on my phone, enough to last the whole trip. Geez, do you even like Greta? I don't know. She talks so much I can't even think. I thought I'd have some peace and quiet on this trip, but I was wrong. It was a mistake. I thought having a girlfriend would be fun, and my buddies from the Polytechnique would stop mocking me. But having a relationship is hard. And she keeps asking me what I think, and I don't know. There was this one time she asked if I wanted to have kids after she finishes her doctorate, and I just want to go home after my shift and chill, man. Have you tried talking to her about this? But I don't want to talk. Can't she just be quiet? I work so hard, and the Polytechnique was so difficult. She should understand that I need my time alone. She can't understand you if you don't tell her what's wrong. Get your shit together, man. Get your shit together, dude. Being able to talk things out is an important adult skill. If it bothers you that much, then you have to do something about it. Talk with her, or at the very least reflect a bit about your role in all of this. I just don't want to think about that stuff right now. I'm on my vacation after all. I could use a distraction. It would make things clearer for me. Well, I'll let you do your thing then. But you better figure your shit out. Hey, do you have a moment to just have a chat? Oh, so now you want to talk. I thought you wanted peace and quiet. Well, what I've been praying for is Greta going quiet for a minute or two. If it's another human being, it's okay. I haven't talked with anyone else for over a week. I guess. What did you want to chat about? I don't know. Just stuff, I guess. Got any favorite anime? About that. Okay, Yeah, I love anime to pick a favorite one. Dude, I wouldn't even know where to start. That's like choosing who your favorite child is, you know? But if I actually had to answer, it's Yuri on Ice. Yuri on Ice is the best anime ever. You don't want to know how many times I watch it. There are other anime that are equally good. I really like One Piece. From childhood, if we're going back, I really love Rurouni Kenshin. That was like one of my starter anime, along with all of the Studio Ghibli movies you could go, where all those... Sorry, I'm gonna shut up now. Ishmael smiles, having found a kindred spirit even in this place. Oh no, my dude, I have a clear favorite. Tell me you've watched Wait, hold on, I can pronounce this. Suitosho no Ona no Nako. Ona no Noko. Sorry. I know it's kind of a vanilla choice, but I love it. I keep thinking about it every night before I fall asleep. Is this a real anime? Really? Now I know everyone prefers part... Really? Now I know everyone prefers part 3 because the girls are cute with dude. This I'm not supposed... I don't know if you're familiar with the... I want to know what he's talking about, and also I want to Google what that anime potentially is. Ishmael keeps talking on and on, trying to justify his terrible opinions. You wonder how someone who claims to watch so much anime could have such terrible taste, and even worse, be so arrogant about it. I'm Googling it. I'm sorry. This is important. I wonder what it is based on, if it is not real, but...
2 very boring minutes later.
Okay, well, I tried. But you know that's just... Okay, wait, hold on. Ishmael keeps let's reset. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have got distracted by trying to figure out if that was real or not. Ishmael keeps talking on and on, trying to justify his terrible opinions. You wonder how someone who claims to watch so much anime could have such terrible taste, and even worse, be so arrogant about it. But you know that's just how moe fans are. You indulge him for a little longer, but after a while you decide it's time to resume your duties. Hey, listen, I have work to do. How about you put on your headphones and watch your anime thing? Oh, yeah, I had been listening to it all this time. I can multitask, but it's cool. Yeah, I'll do that. Thanks for listening to me. You're just an otaku weeb who married a girl who won't shut up. Is that the plot of an anime? I'm pretty sure that is. After that brief episode, the afternoon is uneventful. A handful more guests check in. At 7 p.m., you make your way to the lounge for dinner. Guests have already arrived and settled in to wait for their meals. Asterion and the German lady are talking as they sit together at a table near the back. Before you can make your way over to talk with them, Kota approaches you. The dragon fidgets with his fingers, readjusts his hair, and then grumbles under his breath before speaking. Good evening, Master Rukari. I am pleased to see you again. It has been quite the difficult day, to say the least. Please, do not get me wrong. I am more than happy to help with the hotel as much as I can, but I must admit technology is not my strong suit. In truth, there have been moments throughout the years where I've been hesitant to get with the times. It got worse after the Second World War. Since then, it's been an endless barrage of advancements. I'm not so young anymore. I can't keep up with that kind of pace. But I've made peace with the fact that I should at least try to stay up to date with current trends. So, considering I have a hard time operating a smartphone, I'm afraid I was unable to help very much with the task at hand. As such, Asterion and I were unable to make any progress ourselves. However, and please excuse me for tooting my own horn for a second, I had an idea that ended up helping more than I ever could. This is not the voice I gave you, but I don't know, I tried to make you all different. You see, I had a most, let us say, interesting conversation with Miss Greta yesterday while I was helping her significant other act like an adult. As it turns out, she's an engineer, and when I invited her to inspect the basin, she was more than eager to help. Asterion and I were both very impressed with her contributions. I do believe we are a little closer to unraveling this problem. She went through the trouble of explaining everything, at a very quick pace, might I add, which got on my nerves after a while. But I do feel like I managed to grasp some of it. Kota's tech stack went up by 1. And speaking of getting on my nerves, I don't know what it is, but there was something off about that room into which we had to cram ourselves. Everything about it felt wrong. I suppose Mr. Asterion is used to it and Miss Greta seems too involved with the project of mine, but something about that room left me on edge. It goes so far as giving me heartburn. And between that and Miss Greta's enthusiasm, I'm afraid to say that I had a very stressful afternoon. So I am sure you understand when I say that I yearn for some peace and quiet right now. I will be heading into the kitchen. There's something very soothing about preparing ramen. I do expect you to be here on time. You will not want to miss it. Please know I love ramen. Asterion and Greta are right over there if you need them. I gave you a booming deep voice. I don't know what voice you have, Kota. You head towards Asterion and Greta. Absolutely fantastic. When you have, you could revolutionize, well, everything. You could just make a matter out of thin air. This breaks thermodynamics as we know. We can solve the energy crisis and then scarcity itself forever. This place could change the future of the planet. Where were you at this hotel all this time? Why has no one put this place to good use? Miss Greta, please contain yourself. The hotel remained abandoned for decades. There was nothing I could do. Still, my family has pushed towards this for quite a while now, to put this realm to good use. But the previous owners didn't think to put in the effort. At most, they would approve a handful of book shipments every year. That is just absurd. Imagine how much to solve the scarcity of resources. Well, there was good reason not to interfere often with the outside world. This has been the hotel's protocol for centuries now. A while before World War II, there was an incident. Back then, the master was one Jean-Marie. He had a brother called Clement. Clement spent years lobbying to have the hotel supply raw materials to Germany, to Master Jean-Marie's chagrin. Materials such as textiles, iron ore, quicklime. Oh, that is not good. Yes, can you imagine what sort of contraption Germany might have crafted with those materials? Well, I am glad we played our small but important role in avoiding that altogether. Yes, oh God! So you see, quite often masters were afraid of how the hotel's capacities could be misused, with reason. And it is not as simple as one would imagine. The realm cannot export much. It will stop generating new materials if too much mass leaves it. I see, so there's good reason not to export, but they can still be used for research. What issue would there be with that? I suppose you are correct. The hotel has housed a number of artists and scientists over the centuries, but as I said, the masters didn't put much thought into it. It was just an occasional thing, or far too often a matter of nepotism, to benefit the master's darlings. Oh, Rukari, sorry I didn't see you there. Come sit with us. There's much for us to talk about. Did Kota tell you about the day's findings? We asked him to. Yeah, he gave me a rough outline of what you accomplished. You helped quite a lot, didn't you? And here I thought this would be a vacation for you. I did help, but don't worry, you pretty little head. Every second was worth it. Working on this was incredible. Rukari, allow me to speak frankly. Yeah, there is nothing I can do to stop you from speaking frankly. You have much more than a gold mine here. If you want to get rich, yes, you can achieve it with this hotel. I'm aware of that. This place has a lot of potential, that's for sure. I'll make it a home for those who are lost. A home is such a simple thing on paper. Food, bed, clothes, the ceiling, friends. But no matter how much humanity has advanced, we are still limited by resources and circumstances. Even today, children go without education, malnourished, and ill. Even in the most developed countries, people die from rare diseases that require prohibitively expensive medication. Just look at the insulin market, for Christ's sake. Or EpiPens. The world is full of such inequities. With this hotel, we might be able to achieve an immense humanitarian project. You are thinking too small. Listen, the world will always have those problems. Every day a new poor starved child is born. It will never stop. The more you help, the more they'll ask for help. Meanwhile, if you use this place for research, you'll advance humanity itself. No, I'm already brimming with ideas on how to exploit this place. Oh, heck no, lady! We rely on gigantic submarine cables to communicate across continents when we just relay it all over this hotel, for instance. There are so many substances for research which are prohibitively expensive to acquire, and here you can just generate whatever you want. Please, Rukari, you must think about the progress of mankind. The theory has already convinced me that exploding goods may not be the wisest decision, yes, but research allows us to harness this power. Do not give in to stifling platitudes about power, Rukari. Humanity has gotten its way out of primal, brutal nature with our wits alone. Asterion told me that there are such things as God, he did. The fools allowed this realm to exist and yet did not make use of it. Were it up to the gods, we'd still be throwing stones at wild oxen. It's humanity that created art with the inner sights, allowed difficulties and living standards. Please, you must not leave this realm unused. Look, I know what you're thinking. You're telling yourself that I am German, correct? My country did such terrible things. I keep that in mind, but the concentration camps or horrific atrocities are such a common sight across history. What Germany did, but look what happened in Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Think of Japan's Unit 3731. Humanity is quite familiar with horror we are, but that does not mean we should stop trying to achieve goodness. Power does not necessarily corrupt, Rukari, and you have power, lots of it, perhaps more than any single human in history ever had. Refusing to use it for good is not too far from refusing it for outright evil. Lady, can you just shut up? Oh, I may have gone overboard there. I am frightfully sorry. Asterion, I had the most pleasant and fascinating day of my life with you today. I cannot overstate the privilege of learning about your hotel. I am getting to return tomorrow to finish our task, and you've given me such drive, so stimulating. Oh, you think we can wrap up this internet thing tomorrow? Well, you know how the hotel works. Through contracts, I estimate there's 5 contracts we need to iron out and 5 text commands we need to finish to get internet up and running. And we're at 4 and 1 respectively right now. Well, that's perfectly doable. It is. Now, if you'll excuse me, I believe my boyfriend may have spent the entire day in our room, and that won't do. I will bring him out to socialize with the others. Have a wonderful night, both of you. I don't like her. I get wanting to advance, but not exploitatively. Master, what did Miss Greta mean by concentration camps, and what happened to Hiroshima and Nagasaki? Stop clicking that button! Oh, Asterion. How about we talk about all that another time? It's a complicated subject. Sure, whenever you want, Master. I hope dinner's ready soon. You and Asterion sit down, get comfortable, and have a short, pleasant conversation with some of the guests while you wait for your meal. Ramen! 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 Soon after, Kota emerges from the kitchen and begins serving ramen to the guests. You had a conversation with the dragon during the morning and asked him to be a little more lenient with the guests' kitchen manners. Kota seems to have received the message, but he still makes strained faces when walking by some of the guests. Greta returns shortly after leaving, dragging Ishmael behind her. The pair sit close to the bar, making Kota's walks to and from the kitchen longer as he does his best to avoid them. After you informed Kota of Asterion's cutlery fiasco, he connected the dots that chopsticks wouldn't do. Instead, he has prepared onigiri for the Minotaur to eat with his hands, a much appreciated respite from the oppression of silverware. I do love onigiri. With some spicy smoked salmon or some umeboshi plums. Midway through his meal, Asterion stops and sighs. Is something the matter? It's just that Miss Greta is quite difficult, is she not? Yeah, no, I agree with you. Today I slipped up and mentioned that I used to play the lyre. Since those words left my mouth, she did not stop. Oh, I forgot, I was doing the wrong voice. Today I slipped up and mentioned that I used to play the lyre. Since those words left my mouth, she did not stop asking to hear me play it. So she got a few more people together to ask me to play a few songs before they depart. I couldn't get myself to tell them no. So in 2 or so days, I'll perform a small concert for the guests. Are you sure you're okay with it? You don't sound too enthusiastic. I'll just have to get reacquainted with my lyre. It shouldn't be too hard. I've played it for so long. Oh boy, buddy. You're gonna have to learn to say no. After your meal, the two of you climb the grand staircase and return to the master's quarters. Along the way, you have a small discussion about the day's events. Asterion is rather unhappy about having to take people to the bedrock of the hotel, but acknowledges that it's a necessary evil to give everyone else a better experience. Coda's presence down there was very comforting, despite him not being much help with the task at hand. He also talks about Greta. You both agree that despite being more than grateful for her help, she is a very intense person. Asterion mentions she will be leaving in a couple of days to continue her journey, but that still gives you plenty of time to complete your internet project. In turn, you tell him about your run-in with Ishmael in the afternoon, but you have to take a break to explain what anime is. Well, you see, in Japan, they make these cartoons. It turns into a rather long digression, but Asterion is happy to hear more. You wonder whether you should show him some of your favorite shows once you get the Wi-Fi up and running. Yes! I think he would love it! We'll just stay away from B-stars in case it triggers any bad memories. I don't want him to think about getting eaten by other anthropomorphic animals. The two of you reach the master's quarters, and after a bow, Asterion heads to his room. Exhausted after a long day, you do the same. Hopefully tomorrow you will solve this internet issue once and for all. Is it ever that easy, though? Is it? Had he been left in the cold room for long enough, would his body have frozen and his last shred of mind burned up? It had crossed his mind often. Was it possible to ever turn into stone? For 80 years he had thought, what if the next master was Clement's son, or perhaps a long-lost and forgotten bastard of Jean-Marie's? What if he had the dark features of Joseph from 2,000 years ago, or perhaps looked like the Athenian man yet further into the past? Do you ever wonder if Joseph was like the biblical, like Mary and Joseph? Because that could have been an interesting take on this. I mean, they did go stay at an inn. Would another Redeemer ever come? Asterion had built countless scenarios, crafted with an artisan's passion, made all the more vivid by the darkness and silence that surrounded him, which can in fact cause you to physically hallucinate. But that's all behind him, even if his bedroom is more claustrophobic than the cold room. Tonight the Minotaur lays on his bed, so small for his frame. The sheets covering him make a labyrinth of valleys and peaks, snaking and bunching up around his body. In his sleep he curls his fingers, shifting the cloth into a new spiral of snakes. He wakes up. Like a jolt of lightning, his mind is thrown back into existence, and he's conscious before he is even aware of it. What a night. It is as if he hadn't slept at all. No placid lovemaking with the bed and pillow, existing here in this bed of snakes, eyes wide open, is discomfort of the most mundane variety. It is then that he says it out loud. Will I ever turn to stone? His mind, still in the reverie between dream and wakefulness, is assaulted by this momentous clarity. An idea pulls him out of the bed. For 80 years he had been kept apart from a certain friend, one which he dreaded to see once more. But now, it's so clear, so simple. What had kept them apart for so long when they were so close? Still in darkness, the Minotaur gets up and opens his drawer. You should still put something on. Please wear your little kerchief, it's cute. Once he is dressed, he looks behind the rest of his garments and finds his lyre. Old friend indeed, his hand meets its surface like a firm handshake. The strings hum as the Minotaur pulls the whole thing from its coffin. While you live, shine. Together they sneak out, two brothers giddy in their rebellion. The Minotaur doesn't dare raise his hooves for fear of waking up the master or any of the guests as he makes his way down. Except for the stairs, he skates his hooves over the marble, making a soft whistling sound. From the skylight over the stairs, the moonlight rains down onto the Minotaur. Were there a witness to see his descent, a blue veil covering him and the instrument cradled on his chest, there'd be no doubt of his royal lineage. He makes his way to the reception, and then goes out. A dark sky greets him, with only the shyest slash of dawn purple. The Minotaur sits on the stairs outside. and without ceremony plucks the strings. Oh, look at his little hoofsies. I have not seen his lower half in a while. It's like two lovers kept apart for too long. Their touch does not yield the desired reaction. It brings no moan of gratitude nor spine-tingling shiver. But as the Minotaur tunes both his lyre and his own ears, the embers beneath all the ash and coal resurface. A single note strikes true and makes his heart hum. But that's just the first stirring. He continues with the tuning. Do you think I'll ever turn to stone? His lyre lets out a hiccup, a note so sharp it hurts. I used to like the idea. I did. But this is good, is it not? The gods left us no choice. We are here forever. But were this our everlasting destiny, I would choose to exist. Overnight, a sweet dampness settled on the asphalt below, and now it creeps up to the Minotaur and sends shivers down his spine. Back in Knossos, how many times had his bedroom door been left unlocked overnight, allowing him to rise before the break of dawn to witness the palace coming to life? How many times had he done the very same thing in this hotel? One ought not hold on too hard to these precious moments. The more one grasps time, the quicker it escapes. If Asterion had learned any lesson from his imprisonment, it was to let it all pass by and hold only a single grain of sand, just enough to make a pearl out of it. An everlasting memory. Oh. I feel so bad for him. Nothing more is necessary. Little pearls of memory. Footsteps creep up from behind. The Minotaur does not look back, but his ear flicks in response. That's Luke. Of course it's Luke. Well, if it ain't Angus. You are the last person I would expect to appreciate the music. Greetings, Master Walker. Did you have a pleasant night? Pleasant? I wouldn't say a night can ever be pleasant if there's no one in bed with me, but yeah, sure, it was some good sleep. Room is a bit dusty and it smells off, but damn, the bed is nice. That music, though, just gold, pure gold. Thank you kindly. Although I gotta admit, I didn't take you for a harp player, kid. You look too rough for it, you know? Plus, harps are some real girly shit. It's not a harp. It's a lyre. Same shit, Angus. Asterion resumes playing his lyre. Mr. Walker, could I perhaps make a request? You don't have to be all proper with me, Angus. Just say what's on your mind. My name is Asterion, and I ask that you address me as such. What, you don't like having a pet name? A pet name? Why? I don't understand. Your treatment of me confuses me to no end, Mr. Walker. What do you mean by all of this? What? You don't get it? I think you're hot. Simple as that. I'd let you fuck me all night long. Just go right to town on my ass. Oh, baby, he looks so uncomfortable. I'm a tough guy, you know. I can take whatever you can dish out, so no need to hold back. And let me tell you, I fully hope you are packing a log down there. Excuse me, you want me to... you? Yes, what's so weird about that? Jeez, by your reaction, I think you never met a gay man before. What, were you raised under a rock or something? Gay? Yeah, I like men. Both fucking men and getting fucked. You know, gay. This is not child-friendly content at all. Fuck, you really were raised under a rock. You're from Greece, right? What kind of life did you have there? So, is this normal nowadays, being gay, I mean? You really don't know, huh? I mean, okay, so it depends on what part of Greece you're from, but homosexual relations were pretty common in Greece and Rome, especially among the military. But they didn't really call it gay. You know, the word didn't really exist. You really don't know, huh? Yeah, it sure as hell is normal. It's the best shit ever. Not everyone likes it, but men are amazing. You can get all the sex you want. Being straight could never compare. Now being gay is normal, it's on TV, people talk about it out on the streets, there's so much gay porn. I see. Well, are you? What? Gay! Duh! Um, that's a hard question. It does not what? It does not matter what I am, Master Walker. I serve the hotel. That gives me all the satisfaction I could ever wish for. Oh, so work it is your king, huh? Workaholic kind of guy. That's cool. I can appreciate it, brother. Want to know what my thing is? Asterion plucks his strings and gives a sideways glance to the griffin. So is that a yes? Good. So here's the thing that keeps me up: the stars. Look at that sky. I mean, Asterion. I've been all around. I know my constellations. I have a habit of stargazing, you see, in this night sky. It's like nothing I ever seen. None of the stars or constellations I'm used to are there. Hey, he's got lion feet. It's like we're on some other planet. What's up with that, if you don't mind me asking? Perhaps. This land is indeed no ordinary place, as you may have already guessed. But I am afraid I don't know what to tell you about the night sky. It's been quite a while since I was last outside, and so I cannot for the life of me recall the constellations. I see. Well, you know if anyone's mapped out this night sky? It is possible, I suppose. We have had a number of guests over the years. A few were quite adventurous and enjoyed exploring the valley. Perhaps they mapped out the sky then. But I am fairly sure there are no official constellations. Now, does that task interest you, Mr. Walker? Interest me? Kid, look, I have no idea what kind of weird magic is going on here. Maybe it's a terrible idea to stick around in this place. But damn it, mapping out a whole new night sky? It's gonna be just like when I was a kid. But that'd take a long while, wouldn't it? I don't know if I'm staying here that long. I see. Are there matters outside which require your assistance? No, I guess not. I may look young, but I sure have a lot of spunk left in me, but I'm retired. Still, I have a home to go back to, little cabin. So yeah, don't know how long I'm staying. I understand. There must be people waiting for you back home. Wait! You know, Luke, you are much more pleasant to speak with when you aren't letting your base urges control you. Why do you act like that? Do you have to be so lascivious all the time? Well, do I have to? No, I don't. But it's fun, and you'd be surprised how often it gets me laid. Gets me in a whole lot of fights too, but I can hold my own. There's a thrill to it, you know? Just let it all out, make my wants known, and whatever happens, it's gonna be exciting. Besides, it's not like it matters anyway. People just end up forgetting me regardless, so might as well make an impression while I can. Even you, I'm sure you'll forget about me when I'm gone. No, I'll remember you well, Mr. Walker. Excuse me? I won't forget you. I have a very good memory, and someone as remarkable as you is not easily left behind. You're just saying that to get to me. There's nothing you can control, right? It's the charm. The charm doesn't work here, remember. I don't know how they work, so you will have to pardon me, but they are of no use here. Perhaps that is something you should keep in mind. Whatever you say and do here, it will not be washed away. That's kinda hot! Why are you like this? I may hold my tongue often, perhaps far too often. I have a duty and reputation to uphold after all. But here it is just you and me. Why are you like this? Can't you speak to me properly? Surely you can, but you choose not to. Perhaps you are so used to being forgotten you have no idea how to address others properly anymore. Or perhaps you just don't care about what others feel. Hey, I do care, okay? I'm just fucking dumbass, okay? But you better believe I care. I give the clothes off my back for a stranger in need. Yeah, sure, the whole being forgotten thing messes me up. But I am useless. I'm not a piece of shit. Do you wish to be remembered? Yeah, of course I fucking do! Then you are welcome to stay here. There is much work to be done, and we are always in need of more hands. But, fuck that dragon guy's an asshole. Is he? He seemed terse, true, but that's a very rude way to put it, Mr. Walker. But tell me, does it matter? Assuming Master Kota is indeed unpleasant, are you saying you are any more enjoyable? Does he have to be, shall we say, pleasant? It is not enough to be good and kind, even if flawed. This conversation is going on a lot longer than I thought it would be. And so is this episode. Damn, Asterion, you got some bite to you. I took you for some country bumpkin or something like I used to be. I think about it, that's all I'll say. There is yet another thing. Would the people in this hotel ever forget the man who mapped its night sky? Okay, we're closing this scene and we are stopping here before his voice kills me anymore. Chapter 11, The Expedition, coming right up, but we will cover that in the next episode. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you're enjoying this series. I'm enjoying it too. And it looks like we're finally getting into the meat of things a little bit more, which is exciting for me. I will catch you all in the next episode. Goodbye!